wonky now with this setup, but goodness, y'all, let me tell you, it's been one heck of a night trying to figure this mess out. This is my third attempt. Oh my gosh. But let's see. Hopefully, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to join me here, and hopefully it will work. Um, I had scheduled this first live chat earlier today. It was a spontaneous kind of thing. I'm like, all right, I need to bite the bullet. I need to just do this, right? Like so much in life, it's all about just taking that plunge into the unknown and praying to God that it works. And in the YouTube world, as a mobile YouTuber, I do everything on my iPad and on my iPhone. Yeah, it's definitely a struggle being a mobile blind YouTuber because there's not a lot of accessible things. There's not a lot of accessibility features and a lot of especially the live streaming. So that is why, once again, this is my third attempt. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to join me. Help me, you all. If you all can share this link out to any social media, if anyone is a fellow blind YouTuber or anyone, I know I've had several of my friends help me on the past live streams to let me know, like, hey, girl, first, yeah, there's no audio. And the second live stream was like a total bust. I don't even know if that even made it through broadcasting, but this is my third attempt, so I'm going to give some of my just blessed blind YouTuber friends who are like, have been here and done this and know how difficult it is to give me a heads up. Let me know if I'm coming through now, okay, or not. But anyway, if you're in this chat now, guys, I think I'm starting to get a little bit of activity here on this stream. So definitely put a comment in the chat. Let me know. Tell me if you're sighted, and that way I can be jealous of you. No, I'm kidding. But let me know if you can see and your friends, family member, whatever, of a blind VIP, or if you yourself are blind, are visually impaired like myself, just so that we can kind of start connecting and seeing who all's in the chat. So let me see. How can I do this? All right. I'm going to try to turn my voiceover on and let her play the chat messages to me. You may hear it, you may not, but that's just how I have to do it. I am a voiceover user. For those who are blind and visually impaired, you hopefully know what that means. I am an iOS only user, and so it is called voiceover for iPhones and iPads. So I'm going to turn that on and see what kind of chat we've got going on thus far. And if you all Yay, Janet Beagle, girl. I'm so glad you're joining me for this because you have been one of my first subs. And, like I just remember from the very beginning, when I was counting, 50 subs or 100 subs. And I am 10 away, y'all, from 400, which is such a blessing because my channel slowed down so much since I've not been able to upload and post regularly lately. But Janet, I'm actually going to answer your question that you sent me the other day in this live stream. So hang in there with me. I'm going to get to that here shortly, Miss Janet, and hopefully I can help you out. But you guys, she is just a very loyal, awesome person that I count as just someone who, it's so nice and humbling because she is actually sighted and her husband is visually impaired. Janet, does he have Stargardt's disease? I can't recall. I can't remember if he has the same diagnosis as I do, but it's really nice to see and interact with a spouse that's on the other side of the fence. It's refreshing to hear their perspective, what their curiosities and questions to me are. And so, Jane, I'm going to get to your questions soon. Okay, Lauren, divided by sight. Hey, thank you so much. I know you know how difficult this is. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you so much. This is working. Woo! Lauren, if you can help me share this link out and just kind of help clear up this confusion that I know a lot of our fellow blind YouTubers that we all know and love may be experiencing. If you can just help me share this link that's actually working, that would be great. 7:33 p.m. Blind Cube. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Happy face with happy fans. Oh, Jeremiah from Blind Cube. Oh, you are a master at this. Son, I need to ask you some questions. Okay. Page 2 of 2. 7:34 p.m. Blind Cube. Buffering. Slightly buffering. Slightly buffering. Okay. Thank you for telling me that. 7:34 p.m. Lauren divided by sign. Can always pull the sense on YouTube in your phone. 7:35 p.m. Lauren divided by sign. Comment star. 7:35 p.m. Lauren divided by sign. Comment star. Okay. 7:36 p.m. Looks good to me. We'll forgive you for only using iOS. You're still young. Haha. 7:36 p.m. Janet Beagle. Yes, he has SD. Custom emojis. Okay, Janet. Chat message input. Chat publicly as Cindy Shatner. Ellipsis. Okay. So Janet says yes, he has SD. So that's awesome. So I'm going to give everybody just a brief little bio introduction and kind of go over some of the bullet points of some of the talking points I'm hoping to get to this evening. With this late start, I have no idea because I can already hear my kiddos screaming in the back. So we'll see how far into this thing we can get. So I'm also going to hopefully give a few more people an opportunity to join our chat before I dive into the nitty gritty. So guys, y'all know I'm Cindy and this is my first live chat. And I'm hoping that, you know, you guys can connect to each other, meet a new friend, another blind YouTuber, anything like that. And sort of give you guys an update on what's going on with me and the channel. I am 10 away from 400, which is just, I'm so blessed. I'm amazed at that. I've had a lot of questions this past month. I have Facebook and Instagram, and I've just kind of been reaching out to a few on those platforms here and there, asking, you know, hey, what are your questions? What are some things that I can start building up for this purpose of a live stream? So I've actually got a few of those I'm going to share with you tonight. But right now, where we are at in this whole move across country is I am currently back home in my hometown here in Kentucky, just for some privacy. I'm not going to give like the full town name. I've had people ask me specifically, hey, where do you live? And I'm like, well, I'm not specifically going to tell you, but currently right now we are in Kentucky and eventually moving to Tennessee. So here is the bad news. Our house is still for sale and we have not received one offer. It's been 2 months and this house is only like 4 or 5 years old. It's a new build. It's a very nice house, but I think it's really deceiving because a lot of people are like, oh, but the economy's great right now, or not, but the real estate market, I should say, is great right now. Most houses are like flying off the market right now, especially in the South. But in Wyoming, in the Midwest, where I was, it's a super small town. It's extremely high elevation. It's a mining town. They mine like 2 or 3 different things. And unfortunately, one of the mines just announced earlier this year that they are closing. So there's a bit of a job crisis in my small town, and that is unfortunately affecting the market. So hopefully in the next month or so, we will be getting an offer. But guys, it could be, oh my God, Christmas maybe before we even are able to look at houses in Tennessee. So my husband is, you know, already started his job in Tennessee. He is a college professor. And thankfully, because of COVID, the one silver lining there is that he is able to work from home here where we are. And so that's limited his commute to and from Kentucky to Tennessee. And so that's kind of where we are. Everything is still up in the air. I don't know where anything is. I'm not in my own home. I mean, I'm in my home that I grew up in, but still, you know, my mom's moved things around. I don't know where everything is. My kids are still struggling with the transition of a new bedroom and new routines and all that stuff. So that is why it's made it so difficult for me to keep track of my social media and this channel and consistent uploads. So I truly appreciate your all's patience and all that jazz. I'm going to check in with your all's chat and see if you have any questions. I'm going to now move into the question Q&A part of this live stream. So if you have any questions for me or for just Blind VIP Life, you're welcome to post them in the chat now, and we will see what we find. Here we go.
Voiceover on. Good. 7:36 p.m. Looks good to me. We'll forgive you for only use 7:38 p.m. Laura
Okay.
divided by side. Chip. 7:40 p.m. Laura divided by side. FIBG and crosses your house cells. 7:40 p.m. Laura divided by side. FIBG and crosses your house cells. Custom emojis.
Thank you,
Chat
Lauren.
message input. Chat comment via Cindy Schaffner. Ellipsis. Text field.
Okay.
7:38 p.m. Laura. 7:39 p.m. Blind toast. 7:40 p.m. Laura divided by side. FIBG. 7:38 p.m. Laura divided by side.
I think I heard Blind Toes is in here, which he had a really awesome video talking about 5 things blind YouTubers should not do, which I'm totally doing several of them just, with voiceover on and all of that jazz. So definitely not making a clean professional stream, but it's my first time, right, guys? So hey, a little bit of patience, right? That actually is going to lead me in to a question I received from Janet. So Janet, I'm going to answer your question now. So just off the top of my head, I recall you mentioned wanting to know 3 things that my husband or partner, however you want to phrase it, does that I appreciate and like as a visually impaired person. And I believe 3 things that he does that I don't like. And I've had a little bit of time to think about it, but I did not take notes because, with kids around, you can never have writing utensils around with a 2 and a 4-year-old. But the first thing that I would say that I love when my husband does this, just from a blind, visually impaired perspective, is the number one thing you will hear all of us in the blind VIP community express. The thing we hate the most is, of course, the lack of transportation. We live in a sighted world that is heavily, heavily dependent on driving and transportation. Sidewalks are like where I'm at in my hometown. You are lucky to find a neighborhood with a freaking sidewalk. And so it's just not accessible. It's not like I can walk safely on a sidewalk a mile or 2 down the road. They just don't exist. So I would say I really love it when my husband checks in with me either weekly or bi-weekly, however often, and checks in with me and asks, hey, is there anywhere that you need to go? Are there any errands that you or the family need to run? That kind of thing. That I just really appreciate just, kind of just that check-in with transportation needs. And there's a lot of times his plate is so full that he doesn't get a chance to do it a lot. But when he does, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, I do. And of course, sometimes I don't even need to go anywhere. And this brings me to the next thing. I want to go somewhere just for a car ride because I am confined to the house. And especially with COVID going on, now more so than any, I get cabin fever a lot. And I feel like a lot of people with disabilities do. And one of the blessings and gifts that you can give someone who is disabled, whether it's with a visual impairment or any other mobility issue that prevents them from driving, it is to offer a ride, whether it's to run an errand or just for pleasure, just to get them out of the house, to use what vision they have to see life and hear the busyness of the city or town or wildlife or what have you, but just to get out and to have that difference of environment. I have to say, that goes so far with me when my husband does that. It's the like anytime he asks me, hey, it's Mother's Day, what would you like? And I'm like, a baby free car ride for an hour or something would be great. and so yeah, that would be, 1, maybe two, however you want to look at it, things that I love. And the second thing is patience. I think another thing that a lot of us in the community will always say, you have to have patience with a blind, visually impaired person. And we naturally do things slowly. We naturally are, just going to take longer to do things. It doesn't mean that we are not able to. Two totally different things, right? I think, Lauren, you can agree with me there. Like, we're still capable, but we just require a bit more patience than the average person. So it's really difficult. I feel like after, like, Matt and I, we've been together probably 15 years now. It took me like 10 years to get him to the altar, y'all. So yeah, long story there. But we've just had our 6th year wedding anniversary, and I feel like after these many years together, it's easier now for him to lose his patience, especially now that we have kids. There's a lot more responsibility for the family and on our plate. So tensions can run higher. There's more stresses, there's more responsibility. And so the first thing that's going to go in tense situations and events and environments are your nerves and thus your patience, right? So keep that in mind. I have to say, when he really just takes a breath, shows patience, I appreciate that so much. That could also work as the negative when he doesn't have patience for me and he just wants to, for example, take a task over and do it for me because he can do it faster. I have to say that can be a huge pet peeve, and it comes across very, disrespectful. It comes across, just, I don't know, stepping on what little independence I have, if you know what I mean. There's not a lot of times where we truly feel independent on our own amongst sighted people. And so when someone swoops in and takes over a task for us, it just doesn't always give you that lovey dovey, cozy, fuzzy feeling, right? So I'll keep thinking about some more things. I'm going to jump in on the chat. Tell me, guys, for anyone else blind, visually impaired in the chat, we're talking about 3 things that we love and appreciate when our loved ones do for us, or 3 things that we dislike that we really wish they would or would not do for us, kind of thing. So 3 things we like and 3 things we dislike. Put that in the comment section. I'd love to know what you all think. Lauren, I know you're visually impaired. Blind Toes, you are. I don't know who else is in the chat, so I'm going to go look and see.
7:49 p.m. One notification.
All right.
Video player. Heading. 7:43 p.m. Blind Toes. 7:44 p.m. Blind Toes. My reel pertains to when you're recording with your phone, not streaming. 7:46 p.m. Looks good to me. That's awesome. My family never wants to. 7:46 p.m. Looks good to me. That's awesome. My family never wants to take me anywhere. I always have to ask and always feel bad asking.
Okay. So that's a good point.
7:46 p.m. Looks good to me. That's awesome. My family never wants to take me anywhere. I always
Hold
have to
on
ask and
just a
always feel bad
second.
asking.
I'm going to catch up with the chat here.
Think people see us doing it slower and are quick to assume we can't do it. 7:46
Yes,
p.m.
that's right, Lauren.
Or just getting patient. 7:48 p.m. Looks good to me. I'm
Yep.
able to get around pretty good with my cane and then able to walk 5 miles easily go. So it's not all bad. 7:49 p.m.
Yeah.
Laura divided by sight. Annoying when the parents forget we can't see move things or leave things open. Custom emojis.
Oh, yeah.
Chat message input. Chat publicly as Cindy Schaffner. Ellipsis.
Okay. So someone mentioned that it is really difficult to ask for help or ask for transportation from your partner. And yeah, or really from any friend or loved one. It is difficult, especially when you are always the one asking, right? So it is really refreshing when someone just flat out offers or checks in and throws that opportunity out there. But for people that are still struggling with the whole asking aspect, it is hard and it's a juggle because there are appropriate times and there are inappropriate times. And I think a lot of people can kind of get in trouble when they just ask at the wrong time. It is not convenient for the person they are asking, and it can that first decline, just like when you're job searching, or when you go out in the world and you're doing anything and you get that first decline, that first negative, and you're passionate about it, something you really want. Any no about something you're passionate or need or want in life is hard. It's a jagged pill to swallow, and it really makes you hesitant to put yourself out there again. And so it's difficult to do over and over, knowing that you're inconveniencing someone, and it's not always something that they want to do, and we realize that. And because we realize that, it makes it that much harder to ask. So, my advice for anyone who is still struggling with either asking for help, whether it's just in general or with transportation, it would be to try to, number one, and I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, I think it's feeling like a burden. I kind of touch on this a little bit in that video. So if that's something you're relating to, you might want to check that video out, because I mentioned this, and where I talk about one of the helpful things is finding what, like I said, number one, when is it convenient or inconvenient? When are the appropriate times and inappropriate times? For example, when someone's rushing, they're running late for work and they're getting ready to head out the door in 10 minutes, like that is not the right time, to bombard them with one more thing to do on their plate when they're already like stressed out, when they're already frustrated and they're running behind with their own schedule and agenda. So, identify when are the best times to approach people with your asks, because you want to make sure that you're not adding to their frustration or to their plate at a time where they already are feeling frustrated and stressful. So, identifying those times of when it is appropriate and when it's not appropriate, and when it's convenient for them. So, for example, say you need groceries, which, now here where we are, I don't know if you guys do order online groceries, like with Kroger's, it's ClickList, or Smith's, it's called ClickList. I know Walmart does it, all that stuff where you can basically order online and then pick your items up. You can schedule it when, like, hey, someone's coming home from work, or hey, do you pick your groceries up at a specific time each week? Do you mind if I schedule mine at the same time, and you can try to pick both of ours up at the same time? So strategically trying to approach it where it is convenient for both parties. That's another way that you can easily show that you're considering their needs and their perspective while you're asking. Um, and so I saw in the chat box that someone else was mentioning their cane user. And I have to say, guys, I am approaching this line in my sight loss journey. I talk about sight loss as a journey because for all of us it's a unique experience. No one's journey is the same. No one's experience and process of acceptance is the same. So I have reached the point where I am no longer comfortable going without a cane at times. I've had very little O&M training with a cane. And when I did, guys, that was like, I don't know, maybe 19 years ago, 18 years ago when I did. So definitely not anything I have used recently. So I feel like, okay, I think I need to go back for some O&M training. And for any sighted people in the chat, that means orientation and mobility training. I think I'm gonna have to start using my cane more often. I've lost significant more sight loss in the last 5 years. And Janet, here's another thing. If you are still with me in the chat, specifically with anyone regarding macular degeneration, Stargardt's disease, any retinal, a lot of the retinal conditions out there, guys, will experience spikes and dips and plateaus in their sight loss journey. And the last 5 years, I had a major spike in sight loss. I don't know quite how much acuity I've lost, but due to my pregnancies, because I did not realize I was not supposed to take a multi prenatal vitamin, it did not dawn on me. Had my brain thinking about growing a baby. I didn't think about the fact that vitamin A was in my prenatal pill. and that destroyed my vision in my pregnancies. So, lesson learned the hard way. And so I've lost a significant sight, and now I'm to the point where, okay, and at night, I definitely need a cane now. And there's parts during the day where I feel like I do as well. If I haven't slept a lot the night before, if I've been exposed to the sun already a lot, I'm starting to get a headache. I'm starting to realize, like, okay, I need to depend more on a cane now. So I have reached that line, guys. It's a huge development for me. I think a lot of people in the sight loss world reach, feel like, it's when they've lost their vision slowly over time. It's not like a, you know, quick quick loss. Sorry guys, I don't know if you all heard that or not. Hold on. Oh no, guys, hold on. Okay, can you all see me at all? I think I messed it up. We'll see. Let me know if you guys can still see me or not. But I'm going to keep talking and see if you guys can still see me or not. But um, basically, what I was saying is, I think what I was trying to say, I've already lost my train of thought because of like total blind moment here. But basically, I was saying that I've hit that, line where I didn't need a cane, but now I do. And for a lot of people, that's a pretty significant like line in the sand that we always look back on eventually. It's like one of the just big milestones. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's a big milestone in my sight loss journey of making that decision of, okay, I can no longer get by without using a cane. So that's where I'm at right now, guys. I'm going to go into the chat and see if I'm still with you and if you're still with me and what you guys are saying.
7:55 p.m. Blind toes. Fun question: if you have a chance to throw a pie at another blind YouTuber, who would it be and what kind of pie?
What kind of blind toes? What kind of pie? Hold on.
7:55 p.m. 7:55 p.m. Blind toes. Fun question: if you have a chance to throw a pie at another blind YouTuber, who would it be and what kind of pie?
What kind of pie? I will tell you. Okay, so everybody, what's your all's favorite pie? I have to say it's either caramel apple, or if I'm feeling like I need a sweet, something sweet, it's key lime. I love key lime. So I'm going to throw that out there to you guys. I feel like my screen just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. Sorry, guys. Oh. Now, can you see me? Let's see. Ha! Sorry, I'm like jiggling you guys around so much. I'm probably gonna give you guys like vertigo or something. All right.
7:57 p.m. Lauren divided by sight. We see you.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren.
7:55 p.m. Blind toes. 7:58 p.m. Lauren divided by sight. I need to carry my cane with me more too. Page 6 of 6.
I need to carry my cane with me more too. Yeah. See, I mean, it's just, and it's like a habitual thing too. Like, you either remember to grab it, like with my purse. That's what I need. I need to find a purse that I can like keep it in, stow it away and stuff. I don't know. Maybe that will help me remember to bring it. Let's see.
Voiceover on.
Okay.
Voiceover on. Welcome to the chat. Remember to guard your private. 7:57 p.m. Lauren. 7:58 p.m. Lauren divided by sight. I need to carry my cane with me more too. 7:54 p.m. Luna Lovica. Love your Canadian accent.
Canadian. So that's another thing, y'all, because I am back in my home town. So like when I was living in Wyoming, I really worked hard to hide my accent. Not to hide it, but I guess to mask it a bit because it was always just like people would just look at me weird and like, clearly you're not from here, right? And I'm like, yeah. But now that I'm back home, and my mom, she has a very thick accent. She's just a wonderful, beautiful country girl, and from deep in Kentucky, and so her accent's very thick. And when I'm around my mom a lot, It always comes back. So I apologize if anyone is struggling to understand me because it gets really, really thick. And I start talking in metaphors and similes and things that a lot of us, from the South use. Like the other day, or no, it was not the other day, but a few years ago when I was living in Wyoming, I was talking to someone there and I was like, oh yeah, people in hell will get cold water before a blade of grass grows in my yard or something like that, because nothing grows there. But he laughed for like 5 minutes because he had never heard that saying before. And I feel like a lot of us from the South just talk in those funny sayings and stuff, and a lot of the times only the locals really know what we mean. But I know, Jed, if you are still with me, I saw you in here earlier. He's an old high school friend of mine, guys. He's sighted, but he knows what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people in our area that have a very thick, thick country, Kentucky, Tennessee accent, and I am one of them. So I apologize if you guys cannot understand me. It's gotten a lot thicker since I've come back home.
7:58 p.m. Lauren divided by side. I need to carry my cane with me more too. 8:02 p.m. Lauren divided by side. Yes. Yahoo will return speaker to the video on 7 saying it's awesome. 7:07. 8:02 p.m. Lauren divided by side. Yes. Yahoo will return speaker to the video on 7 saying it's awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Lauren. I sometimes get very self-conscious about it, especially when I'm making videos. I try to curb my accent just a bit, because it's funny. My husband and I were actually having this discussion the other day. We were talking about why is it that the Southern accent is always depicted as the dumb, like unintelligent, characters, any kind of like media. Like, for example, Goofy from Disney has a very country backwood accent, right? So why is it, anytime you want to portray like you know, an uneducated person, it seems like they have a Southern accent in media of any kind. And so I'm like very conscious of that. I never want people to think that, okay, excuse me, I never want people to think that I am not educated and that you know, I don't know, I guess discount my opinion and my views and my voice because I have such a thick accent, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my insecurity and hang up. I just want to try to sound more Midwestern, I guess, if you could say. So anyway, but guys, I'm actually going to have to close it out. And I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me and for being part of this. And I don't know if you guys can see me.